Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to tell you everything you need to know about Samoa Joe returning to WWE.
Did Alexa Bliss's weird doll Lilly just get written off TV?
Piper Niven debuted on last night's episode of Raw, and the announcers pretended they didn't know who she is. Okay.
Another match has been added to Hell in a Cell. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
All right, let's kick things off by talking about Samoa Joe. This came to light yesterday, but we haven't done a video since yesterday, so we're talking about it today. All kinds of different reports coming in over the past few days covering Samoa Joe's return to WWE. Obviously, he was released from the company on the 15th of April alongside a bunch of other people. His non-compete clause would have expired sometime next month, but that doesn't matter because he's back in WWE now. He's back in the system and he's in NXT. So it was a few days ago, last week, that Fightful Select reported that there was, people within NXT believed that Joe might be on his way back. There was talk, there was whispers that Joe was coming back to the black and gold brand, and he was actually seen at the Performance Center as well. Well, this has now been confirmed. Bunch of different outlets yesterday. The Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer stated on Wrestling Observer Radio that Joe was back in NXT, potentially in some kind of backstage role, but he'd heard that it was going to be a Regal-like role as well, and that if William Regal did step down as general manager of NXT, Joe would be among the favourites. Fightful Select have come through with more details on the situation, stating that Triple H was likely the guy who pushed for this, to bring Joe back into the fold, and it's seemingly now confirmed. Apparently the game wanted to get Joe back pretty much as soon as he was cut from the company, which is fair enough. Mike Johnson of PW Insider has some more details on the situation as well. Just talking about what Joe's duties are going to be and everything else. There is a plan in place for him. Currently, it revolves primarily around non-wrestling stuff. However, there is the possibility that maybe he'll be able to wrestle again. So Joe obviously hasn't wrestled since February 2020. Bunch of issues, concussions, everything else. But he was still a surprising release earlier this year because he's a multi-tool player. He's a guy who did a good job as a Raw commentator. He's also ridiculously experienced in everything else. And you think, okay, maybe he could be a producer, a coach or something. It was just inexplicable that you'd let a guy as multi-talented as Samoa Joe go. But he's back in WWE now. There's going to be a William Regal segment on tonight's episode of NXT. That's being advertised. Regal, of course, said at TakeOver that maybe it's time for a change after 7 years as GM. So, spitballing, speculating on this, my inclination would be that Joe's going to be made the general manager. Maybe we're going to see him tonight. Who knows? Either way, I'm very happy that he's not going to be out of employment anymore. It's good to have him back on our screens. The idea of him going somewhere else and having this big in-ring run was really romantic and exciting and everything else. But at the end of the day, who knows what kind of physical condition he's in and everything else. And who knows if he even wants to fight again. I'm just happy he's going to be back on our screens, and I'm sure he will do a very good job.
Yeah, exactly. Just got to echo what you said there, Andy, in terms of I'm sure people would have loved to see him in any other promotion. AEW is obviously the first place people immediately pointed to, potentially, like you say, seeing him challenge Kenny Omega for the world title. But we don't know what's going on with him injury-wise. And I'm just really, really happy and excited to see what happens with him in NXT. It's a shame that we have to potentially lose the on-screen William Regal figure. Hopefully he obviously sticks around because he's such a legend and such an integral part of NXT as well. But an incredible replacement. And like you say, that threat of him going one day, actually something people, the fans can look forward to rather than just Triple H doing it all the time. But I'm going to take this suit off and kind of whip someone's ass who's been a bit of a knobhead. Johnny Gargano, for example, is really, really exciting. And actually, I've got my sources telling me how the reveal's going to happen tonight, Andy. Am I right to break this right now?
Go for it, baby.
So you remember when they unveiled the higher power, they had a big cloak and then it pulled back and Vince, it's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin. Well, actually what's going to happen tonight is William Regal's going to walk out and a guy wearing a giant poncho over his head is going to come out and then it's going to be revealed to be Samoa Joe, of course. So look out for that tonight. I've never got any of my predictions wrong. Let's move on. Let's talk about last night's episode of Monday Night Raw and Lilly. whatever the character is, because it's just a weird, creepy doll that feuded with Shayna Baszler. They recapped at the start of last night's Monday Night Raw, and it made me even sadder. But apparently they may have written her off TV. There was a segment at the opening of the show with Bliss basically acknowledging a lot of strongly worded complaints about what Lilly did last week. Yeah, that's one way to describe Twitter on Tuesday morning. But she said she has subsequently put Lilly in timeout ahead of WWE returning to the road. So could that be it for the creepy doll with the skull for teeth? Let's bloody hope so. Regardless, she also was then interrupted by Nia Jax to set up a match later on, which Alexa Bliss won via DQ after Reginald got involved. And then I think, Andy, Alexa possessed him.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got rid of the spooky doll, but this is still the worst thing in the history of worst things. And that's all I have to say. Let's talk about Piper Niven.
Yeah,
she debuted on last night's episode of Raw.
Who is she? I've never seen her before.
Who is this mystery woman? I don't know. It's only like she debuted in the company in 2017. I don't know who she is. Was she a full timer on NXT UK for 2 whole years? Yeah, she was, but I have no idea who could she be? That was the announcer's response to Piper Niven's debut on WWE Raw. Embarrassing stuff, really. The announcers, like WWE wants to treat you, dear viewer, like you have the memory of a goldfish that's been dead for 5 years. But she was introduced alongside Eva Marie. This was reported ahead of time. WrestleVotes came out of it originally, stating that they'd heard Piper Niven or Mercedes Martinez would be the muscle for Eva Marie for her debut. It was going to be Eva versus Naomi one-on-one, but Eva Marie pulled the ruse, as she's known to do. Piper took her place, just destroyed Naomi in like a minute or something. Very decisive, very one-sided, and everything else. But Fightful Select have come through for a report talking about how all this came together. And you're not going to believe this, right? But WWE almost changed their mind. What a shock. Apparently, the plan as of the weekend was for Niven's debut to happen. Then something changed, and then they brought it back again, all over the place. It's like a game of ping pong, a game of table tennis. And the outlet notes that Niven was perhaps going to debut on Raw with a new ring name and persona. Instead of doing that, WWE decided that everyone had amnesia and couldn't remember who Piper Niven was. Weird move. But one of the pitched ring names for Piper Niven, and there's no indication that WWE will go with this going forward, one of the pitched ring names discussed for Piper Niven, Dewdrop. Dewdrop.
Sorry?
D-E-W-D-R-O-P. Dewdrop. That. Okay. Cool.
Sorry, I realise this is the part where I'm meant to talk, but that's really, really kind of ruined my day even more so on the day after Monday Night Raw. Look, like you say, Piper Niven, first of all, is an incredibly talented in-ring wrestler and a great addition to Monday Night Raw. I'm not sure about presenting her. Like you say, I thought she was going to be more the muscle of Eva Marie, and then she was just sort of the weird, over-enthusiastic friend after the match, but whatever. She got the victory. She buried Naomi. Don't need to do that. Naomi deserves so much more. But you know what I thought you were going to say for a split second there because of what happened post-match? I thought you were going to say that, you know, you've got Eva Marie and then you've got her friend, Eva Marie, so that they can say, Eva Marie's won another match. I genuinely wouldn't have been surprised by that whatsoever. But yeah, good luck to Piper Niven. That's all I can really say about this. And I get it. You know, Eva Marie is there to boil piss and has kind of succeeded already on Monday Night Raw. I just wish it hadn't affected people like Piper Niven and Naomi into all this. But please, who knows? Please wait and see. Trust the process, Andy Murray.
Yeah, you put some respect on Dewdrop's name, all right? Jesus.
Yes. A horrific insight into what potentially is in her future is the match that got added to Hell in a Cell. Remember Shayna Baszler, the most dominant NXT women's champion of all time and former MMA fighter? Yeah, she's fighting Alexa Bliss at Hell in a Cell. No word on this if this is a weird, I don't know, Alexa's Playground match or if it's going to be in the cell. I sense not. or not. But it's the 5th match as part of Hell in a Cell now. Of course, you've already got the 2 Cell matches, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship and Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio for the Universal Championship. Plus, you've also got Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, who couldn't be contained last night, and Bianca Belair versus Bayley. It all goes down on Sunday night, and I'm dreading the live stream for it, Andy. That's basically the summary.
Yeah, good luck with that, my friend. There'll be some good matches on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
There usually is. But you're also going to have to watch Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. And in an ideal world, that would be a 30-second squash in which Shayna Baszler destroys this character and sends it back to the abyss from which it came from. But it's not going to be that, is it? There's going to be girders falling down and fireballs, and Lilly's probably going to come through the ring and fiend magic and... can we just do the Twitter?
Yeah, let's get on with it. At WhatCulture WWE Twitter questions. First question today comes from Daniel Bishop Petrick, who says, the truth is we will always love the $1 Million Championship more than we will love anyone they give it to, not named Ted DiBiase. Well, there's one guy I think I love more than the $1 Million Championship, who they very nearly put it on Sunday. But anyway, what other belt would you like to see brought back, and who would you put it on, Andy?
So I would love to see them do the ECW World Championship, the respect it deserves, give it the justice, everything, the prestige that belt demands. Big cult favorite promotion, of course, from back in the day. There's only one solution: bring it back and put it on Shane McMahon. I've lost it, mate. I've lost it.
Do you know what I'd like them to bring back? The 24/7 Championship. Where's it gone? What's going on with it, Andy? And put it on the inaugural champion, Titus O'Neil, because he had the greatest reign of all, which was, I think, the length of time it takes you to walk up the ramp on Monday Night Raw. But still, let us know which belts you'd like to see come back, and give the $1 Million Championship to Cameron Grimes at the first possible opportunity. Kirelos Assad, I hope I've got your name right there, Kirelos, gives us our second question of the day, saying, what do you think about getting rid of Omos somehow, drafting AJ Styles to SmackDown and having a feud with the new Roman Reigns?
I'm not averse to AJ Styles going to SmackDown to feud with Roman Reigns. I think that'd be very good. I think the match would be tremendous, and you could tell a good story there. It's another natural big name to throw up against the Tribal Chief. But I want to keep Omos. I like Omos. Yeah. Basic big man, but I like basic big man sometimes. And he's a spectacle athlete. I would not be looking to split that act anytime soon. I think it's really fun, and I would keep it together. But you could do both. Why not do both?
Exactly. I really enjoyed that tag match last night, by the way. The New Day versus RK Bros. Still one of a few shining lights on Monday Night Raw. But yeah, put some respect on Big George's name. And AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns obviously could be a fantastic, and I don't mean to say this is in a sort of negative way, but it could be a great B-level pay-per-view, like you say, on that road that we've already booked in our heads to next year's WrestleMania, where he faces The Rock. Any of the others would be fantastic, but we've seen them work together in the past and done brilliant stuff. So yeah, absolutely fine with that. But yeah, let's keep Omos around because I love him. Final question today comes from Ben Howkins, who says, morning legends and pillars of my sanity for the last year. Quick one, with seed being planted for the end of one of WWE's most popular and profitable tag teams, which is stronger, Andy Murray, Vince's hatred of tag teams or the love of money?
Oh, well, his hatred for tag teams is well-worn and well-known and everything else. But I don't think there's anything that Vince McMahon loves more in this world than getting home to his Scrooge McDuck-esque vault of coins, diving right in, spitting them out of his mouth like a whale in a blowhole or something. Yeah, Vince McMahon loves the cheddar, and I think I am led to believe that he loves coins more than he loves his own son. So there we go.
Yes. If there was one on either side, like a sun-shaped pile of coins and his son, he's only going one way. For a right decision there. I do think for once they're doing the tease of the New Day splitting, but Kofi explicitly said, I'll never split from these guys last night. And I don't think that is something that they would just take quite lightly. And plus, who could turn on Xavier Woods or Big E or Kofi for that matter? I realise one of them has to make that decision, but no. To join a stable that kicks you out the moment you lose 2 matches or something. Nah, I'm all right, thanks. Let's move on to today's and finally. And, Andy and I willing the greatest feud into existence. That being Nick Gage versus Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona now, of course. Nick Gage overnight tweeting, I met a lot of corny dudes in my life, but Zack Ryder is definitely one of the most corny mother flippers on the planet. I don't know, maybe he's doing it on purpose. There's no other explanation. It's just bad. I almost feel bad for the guy. He's real soft. MDK. I love this, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been MDK all day for a long, long time. So this stuff's really good. And I cannot wait to hear a GCW crowd just booing themselves hoarse while Matt Cardona's in the ring going woo, 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 and doing his broski. It's a really potent cocktail, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you're wrong there, Andy. See, this feud is pitting brother against brother. I can't wait to hear a GCW crowd wooing themselves hoarse when Matt Cardona defeats Nick Gage. Please don't hurt me, Nick Gage. We're just having some fun with this. Let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dally Boys sitting down to review Raw later on. I wonder what segment we'll split. Is it going to be the one where they did the exact same match from last week? Which one do we choose? Elias versus Jackson Riker, because nothing happened with it again except look at Jackson Riker's eyes. Anyway, at WhatCulture WWE, if you want to send us Twitter questions, you want to follow both of us whilst you're there, you can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Holy Shik. It's a real shame that they decided to cancel Euro 2000 on day 4, Euro 2020 on day 4, but here we are, man.
Sorry for that, mate. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from WhatCulture. He's been Andy from WhatCulture. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.